Shari is not the one to chase after clowns or cry over cheap roses. While others are busy trying to prove they've won something, Melody is out here proving that peace, success, and self-worth are the ultimate victories. This whole situation with Martel Holt, trying to replay his old tricks, sending flowers, and repeating history, it's tired, it's repetitive, and it's proof that some people never learn. Let's make one thing clear. Shari is not checking for losers. She's not sitting around waiting for validation from a man who already showed her who he is. She's moved on. She's thriving. She's glowing differently because her focus is not on mess. It's on her money, her peace, and her purpose. Meanwhile, Martel Holt is still out here trying to recreate moments that died years ago. The same roses he sent to Melody when he was begging her to come back, he's now sending to Ariane, hoping it'll look like love. But the reality is, those roses are just as temporary as the situations he creates. When you think about it, Melody already gave the perfect response years ago. She told that man he could take those roses and toss them right into the trash, just like she tossed him. Because when you're done, you're done. There's no going back, no second guessing, no nostalgia. Melody's done means done. And she proved that by walking away from that toxic cycle with her head high and her dignity intact. But now, here we are again, years later, with Martel repeating the same gestures, only this time it's for someone who thinks she's special because she got 60 roses. Let's pause right there. 60. Meanwhile, Melody got 120. That alone should tell you who the real prize was. But see, this isn't even about the number of roses. It's about the principle. Martel keeps trying to copy and paste his love, his manipulation, his gestures. A problem is, he's not dealing with the same kind of woman anymore. Melody was a wife, a builder, a visionary, and a mother of his children. She was the foundation of his image. What he has now is the reflection of his downfall. Shari doesn't need validation from a man who publicly disrespected her, embarrassed her, and dragged her through emotional chaos. She's the type of woman who can walk into a flower shop, buy her own roses, and smile knowing she did that for herself, not to prove anything, not to post it online, but because she's learned to love herself deeper than any apology could ever reach. That's what growth looks like. That's what peace looks like. Now, let's be honest. The streets are talking. People are saying Martel is doing the same things he did years ago, and it's almost like watching a rerun of a sad show. He sent Melody 10 dozen red roses back when he was trying to get her back. And Melody didn't even let them in her house. She left them right in the garage. She didn't post them. She didn't brag. She didn't entertain it. She knew what that gesture really meant. Manipulation disguised as romance. And now, he's sending 60 roses to Ariane, trying to create a moment that's already expired. It's ironic, really, because Ariane is out here acting like she's the winner. But baby, how do you win when you're being recycled? How do you celebrate when you're getting leftovers from a playbook that didn't work the first time? Martel Holt is not doing anything new. He's just repeating his patterns, hoping the same tricks will make him look like a changed man. But Melody's story already showed us. Martel doesn't change. He just rotates his chaos. Melody has evolved. She's healed. She's learned that peace is better than pretending. While others are online posting pictures, Melody is in business meetings, working on her music, filming, parenting, and protecting her energy. You can see the difference in posture, in tone, in lifestyle. Melody isn't sitting around waiting for Martel's next move. She's too busy making her own. What's funny is how Martel's attempts always backfire. The man will spend money on roses, on gestures, on Instagram moments, but he still can't fix his reputation. He still can't be consistent. And the people around him, including the one he's supposedly spoiling, can't see that it's all a distraction. Those flowers aren't love. They're damage control. They're a performance. They're an illusion to make it look like he's doing better than he is. But when you look closely, the struggle is real. Melody's supporters have been saying it from the start. Don't send her anything about what he's doing with Ariane. Don't DM her about what she posts. Don't forward her the pictures of the roses, because Melody's not checking for that. She's not fazed. She's not jealous. She's not bitter. She's unbothered because she knows the truth. And the truth is, those gestures mean nothing when the man behind them hasn't grown. Let's keep it real. Martel has a pattern of trying to appear in control, when, deep down, he's losing grip. He wants to prove he's still desirable. He wants to show the world he's not affected by Melody's success. But the irony is, everything he does still revolves around her. Even his attempts at love look like sad imitations of what he used to have with her. Ariane may think she's the grand prize, but what she really has is a man who told his own mama he had no plans to marry her. That right there should have been enough to humble her. But instead of reflection, she's posting pictures, counting roses, and acting like it's something to brag about. The struggle really is real, because no matter how many times Martel tries to paint her as his new happiness, he never fully claims her. He never builds with her. He never gives her stability. Let's not forget, this is the same woman who's constantly talking about nursing school, but can't show a transcript, a classroom, or a graduation photo. She's always online, but never progressing. She's chasing validation, while Melody is chasing purpose. And that's the difference between being in love with attention and being in love with yourself. Melody chose herself. Ariane chose chaos. The comparison is exhausting at this point, but it's also undeniable. Melody walked away from a toxic marriage and built an empire. She focused on her brand, her music, her family, and her peace. She didn't have to clap back with words. Her success did all the talking. Meanwhile, Ariane keeps trying to one-up a woman who's already 10 steps ahead. Melody doesn't even respond. Because queens don't argue with jesters. They build thrones. And that's what this entire situation comes down to. Levels. Melody is on a level where she can buy her own roses, her own mansion, her own happiness. She's not relying on a man who's still trying to figure out his purpose. Ariane is still trying to prove she's the one, while Melody already proved she's the only one who was ever worth it. That's the real difference. When Melody said she didn't care who Martel was with, she meant it. She wasn't being petty, she was being peaceful. She said if the bird thinks she got a grand prize, then kudos to her. But the truth is, she's slow. And the girls who get it, get it. Melody's not jealous because she already lived that life. She already endured the pain, the lies, the manipulation, and the embarrassment. She's healed from it. So why would she be concerned about someone else signing up for the same suffering she escaped from? Let's talk about the symbolism of those roses. Roses are supposed to represent love, beauty, and passion, but in Martel's case, they represent recycled energy. Because if you think about it, every rose he sends is just another apology he never said, another promise he never kept, another illusion of affection that fades once the camera's off. Melody knew that. That's why she left those 120 roses in the garage. She wasn't going to let a temporary gesture erase years of betrayal. But now, Ariane's out here bragging about 60 roses like it's something major. Girl, you got half of what he gave his ex-wife. That's not love, that's math. And the math is mathing. You can't compete where you don't compare. You can't post roses and pretend you've won when you're still living in a borrowed house he can't even sell. Melody's house sits on a hill. Ariane's sitting in confusion. That's the reality. Martel Holt's actions have always been performative. He does just enough to create a reaction, but never enough to create change. And people like Ariane fall for it because they mistake attention for affection. They see gestures and confuse them for growth. But Melody has already outgrown that phase. She's not impressed by flowers that die in a week. She's impressed by consistency, by growth, by peace, by self-worth. That's what separates her from the rest. And to the people who keep bringing drama into Melody's space, she said it clearly. Don't send her anything about that girl. Don't come to her DMs. Don't flood her with screenshots, because she's not giving energy to anything beneath her frequency. Melody is protecting her peace, and that means detaching from all nonsense. Even now, Melody's focus is on her kids and her future. She's co-parenting the best she can, even though Martel continues to make things difficult. She said it herself. Co-parenting only works when both people have the same goal. But when one person is still stuck in the past, still trying to create romantic confusion, it becomes impossible. Martel still wants control. He still wants access. But what he doesn't realize is that the door is permanently closed. Melody's not walking through that door ever again. That's why the whole Rose situation looks sad from the outside. It's not romantic. It's desperate. It's Martel trying to fill a void that only growth could fix. It's him trying to rewrite history with someone who will accept less because she doesn't know her worth. Melody knows her worth. She walked away. She built herself up. She became her own peace. And that's why the line hits so hard. Melody Shari not checking losers. She can buy herself roses. Because that's exactly what it is. She doesn't need a man's approval or flowers to feel valued. She's her own validation. And the numbers don't lie. Melody got 120 roses when he was trying to get her back, and Ariane got 60 while he's still playing games. That's not love. That's downgrade math. At the end of the day, Melody doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. Her success speaks for itself. Her peace radiates louder than any post, and her silence cuts deeper than any clapback could. While others are online trying to show off their blessings, Melody is living hers quietly, gracefully, and with purpose. That's the true definition of elevation. Martel can send as many roses as he wants, but until he learns to change, it'll always end the same way, with disappointment. Because you can't rebuild a broken image with flowers. You rebuild it with accountability. And that's something he's yet to do. So let Ariane have her moment. Let her enjoy her 60 roses and her delusions of grandeur. Because while she's counting petals, Melody is counting blessings. While she's posting for attention, Melody is building generational wealth. While she's settling for less, Melody is living in abundance. That's the difference between being chosen and being wise enough to choose yourself. Melody's peace is expensive, and not everyone can afford it. She's a walking reminder that sometimes the best revenge is simply moving on and letting your glow do the talking. So to all the women watching this, take notes. When you know your worth, you don't compete, you don't chase, and you definitely don't check losers. You buy your own roses, keep your peace, and remember that you are the prize. And as for Martel, he can keep sending roses, but until he learns to give respect, loyalty, and consistency, he'll keep losing the same way he always does. Melody walked away from the circus, and she's not going back. Because Melody Shari is not just surviving, she's thriving. She's proof that peace after pain is possible. She's proof that when you let go of what hurt you, you make room for what's meant for you. And no matter how many times Martel tries to recreate the past, the truth remains the same. Melody already won. She's not checking losers. She's not comparing herself to anyone. She's too busy blooming.